Life can take unexpected turns, can't it? Naomi knew this all too well. A terrible famine struck her homeland of Bethlehem. Food was scarce, hope was dwindling. So, Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, made a hard choice. They packed their belongings, they left their home. With their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, they journeyed to Moab. They hoped for a better life there. They sought refuge from the hunger that gripped Judah. Moab was a foreign land, with different customs and gods, but for a while it seemed like a safe haven. Then, sorrow struck Naomi's heart like a sudden storm. Her beloved husband, Elimelech, passed away. Imagine her grief, so far from home. She was a widow in a land not her own, yet, she was not entirely alone. Her 2 sons were still with her. They were her comfort. Life continued, as it often does, even amidst sorrow. Her sons, Mahlon and Chilion, found wives in Moab. Mahlon married Ruth, and Chilion married Orpah. These Moabite women became part of Naomi's family. Perhaps for a time their presence brought a little sunshine. New daughters could mean new joy. New bonds were formed in this foreign place. But life, dear friends, had more trials in store for Naomi. It seemed her cup of suffering was not yet full. Then the unthinkable happened, a double blow of grief. After about 10 years in Moab, both Mahlon and Chilion died. Can you feel the weight of that sorrow? Naomi was left not just a widow, but also childless. Orpah and Ruth were also young widows now, 3 women bound by loss and uncertainty. Naomi felt empty, her heart heavy with bitterness. She believed the Lord's hand had turned against her. She felt that all joy had been stripped away from her life. News eventually reached Moab. The famine in Judah was over. The Lord had blessed his people with food once more. Naomi's heart stirred. It was time to go home. She decided to return to Bethlehem, to her own people. She turned to her daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth. She urged them to return to their mother's homes in Moab. She prayed for new husbands and new lives for them. She felt she had nothing left to offer these young women. Her words were filled with a mother's selfless love, despite her pain. Orpah listened to Naomi's words. Her heart was torn. She loved Naomi, truly she did. She wept. They all wept together. It was a moment of profound sadness and difficult choices. Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye. She chose to return to her people. It was an understandable decision. She sought security. But Ruth, oh sweet Ruth, she clung to Naomi. She would not leave her side. Her heart was knit to Naomi's in a special way. Naomi tried again to persuade Ruth. "Go back," she urged. But Ruth's resolve was firm. Her love was stronger. Then Ruth spoke words that echo through the ages. "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go I will go, and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God my God. Where you die I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me." What a powerful promise, what incredible devotion. Ruth's decision speaks volumes about her character. She chose loyalty over familiarity. She chose love over comfort. She was leaving her homeland, her family, her gods. She was stepping into an unknown future with her mother-in-law, a mother-in-law who felt she had nothing left. Ruth's compassion was a beacon of light in Naomi's darkness. Her commitment was a beautiful example of true friendship. This Moabite woman showed a faith and love that were extraordinary. She was a woman of great courage and a tender heart. So, the 2 women, Naomi and Ruth, journeyed together. They traveled the long road from Moab to Bethlehem. When they arrived, the whole town was stirred. "Is this Naomi?" people asked. She had left full, with a husband and sons. She returned empty, or so she felt. "Don't call me Naomi," she told them. "Call me Mara." Naomi meant pleasant, Mara meant bitter. Her grief was still so raw, so overwhelming. They arrived just as the barley harvest was beginning. A sign of new beginnings? Ruth, ever practical and caring, knew they needed food. She wanted to provide for Naomi. She was not afraid of hard work. She asked Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain." This practice, called gleaning, was a provision for the poor and foreigners. It was humble work, but Ruth was willing. She set out, trusting she would find favor. She wanted to ensure Naomi would not go hungry. Her actions showed her deep love and responsibility. She was a woman of action, not just words. As divine providence would have it, Ruth found herself in a field. It wasn't just any field. This field belonged to a man named Boaz. Boaz was a wealthy and influential man in Bethlehem. More than that, he was a relative of Naomi's late husband, Elimelech. Ruth didn't know this at first. She just went to work. She diligently gathered the grain left behind by the harvesters. She worked tirelessly from morning until evening. God's unseen hand was guiding her steps, leading her to a place of blessing. Little did she know how her life was about to change. Boaz soon arrived at his field to oversee the harvest. He noticed Ruth. He saw her quiet diligence. He asked his foreman, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The foreman told him about Ruth, the Moabitess. He explained how she had returned with Naomi. He spoke of her loyalty to her mother-in-law. Boaz was deeply moved by what he heard. Her reputation for kindness and faithfulness had preceded her. He saw her devotion and her hard-working spirit. Boaz approached Ruth with kindness and grace. He told her, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field. Stay here with my workers. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you." He offered her water from the workers' jars. He invited her to share their meals. Ruth was overwhelmed by his generosity. She bowed low and asked why he was being so kind to her, a foreigner. Boaz explained he knew of her loyalty to Naomi. He prayed that the Lord God of Israel would reward her. Naomi was overjoyed when Ruth returned with so much grain. She heard how Boaz had treated Ruth with such favor. A spark of hope ignited in Naomi's heart. She recognized Boaz as one of their kinsman redeemers. This was a person who could restore their family's land and fortunes. Naomi, wise and hopeful, guided Ruth. She instructed Ruth on how to approach Boaz at the threshing floor. It was a customary way to request his protection and redemption. Ruth listened carefully and promised to follow Naomi's counsel. Boaz was a man of integrity and honor. He was impressed by Ruth's character and her bold faith. He praised her for her loyalty, now shown to him as well. He promised to do the part of a kinsman redeemer. There was one closer relative, but Boaz handled the matter justly. He ensured everything was done according to the law. Soon, Boaz joyfully announced he would marry Ruth. He would redeem Naomi's land and preserve the family name. Their union was celebrated by the whole community. So Boaz took Ruth as his wife, and the Lord enabled her to conceive. She gave birth to a son. His name was Obed. The women of Bethlehem rejoiced with Naomi. "Praise be to the Lord," they said, "who this day has not left you without a kinsman redeemer." Naomi's bitterness turned to pure joy. She held her grandson in her arms. And little Obed, he was not just any child. Obed became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David, Israel's greatest king. Ruth, the Moabitess, became an ancestor of Jesus Christ. What a story of God's amazing grace.